But what did the team do during the off week this past week?
We kind of focus on fundamentals, what most teams do during off weeks, and it's just from a mental standpoint, you want to just see the psyche of the team and where they are. We had 2 tough losses at home, and they want to get down on themselves, but we're just trying to kind of point out some of the positives that we take from those ball games, and just let them know, hey, look, we got 7 football games to go. So guys, focus on some schoolwork. Take your girl out for a date. Just do some different things and get away from football for a few days, so we can get this 7-game stretch. Get ready for this 7-game stretch. So, we definitely looked at some South Carolina State film, and very impressive film, and just getting ourselves ready for this football game.
Have you found in your experience that those bye weeks are effective at rejuvenating a program, because you go through a long preseason right into the schedule, and then you get a little time away? Do you think that helps?
No question. I think it's definitely rejuvenated myself, and I know the coaches and I know the players. They came back on Sunday evening and they had a workout and getting back in the flow of going to class. So it definitely helps. Again, we got this 7-game stretch. We're gonna have to take some time off down the line somewhere. Get a few days here. Because 7 straight games and 6 days a week is just pretty grueling. So, but I got an idea when we'll do that. So, but right now we just we got our energy level back up, and we're getting ready for South Carolina State.
So a couple of bounces and you could have a 3-game win streak. When you lose a game like you lose to Rutgers, you don't sit there and obsess over one play.
Right.
But a coach could. How do you put these things out of your mind and just move on, especially when it's been 2 in a row and like that?
We just identified those plays. Again, 4 or 5 plays, we ought to be in one probably totally different press conference. But I understand that, and point out to the guys. And again, it goes back to just being focused at the right times. And we stressed on that, and just challenging the guys to be focused. Just be focused. Just not take plays off. And good football teams, they don't take plays off. They get their maximum effort on every single play. And as long as we're able to identify the plays that we think you took off and you're in agreement, then I think we're able to move forward. But that's when it comes in where if a coach say, hey, it looked like you didn't go all out, or I did go all out, and that's when you get that rift going. But right now, we're both on the same page from player to coach. So, and again, now that we've identified it, now we have to do something about it. So, just challenging the guys to be more focused at all times when they're in between those lines.
Going down to South Carolina State, that homecoming, a huge fan base. What do you know about that program and the history, what it means to Black College football?
Oh, it's one of the most, traditional. The tradition that they have down there with all those NFL players and Willie Jeffries and Coach Pugh. He's taken over where Willie's left off, and they have a very proud tradition, and they got some ball players down there. For the last 7 or 8 years, it's been a very stout football program. It's almost like a factory. If you're in the state of South Carolina, you ain't going to Clemson or South Carolina. The next choice is South Carolina State. And that's unlike any other really state as it relates to HBCUs. Because you take our state for example, you got about 8 or 9 HBCUs in the state. They play football, and if a guy's not going to one of the big 4 or 5, you throw East Carolina in there, then you're kind of looking at, would they go to App State or Elon or different things. Now in South Carolina, if a kid's not going to Clemson or he's not going to University of South Carolina, he's going to South Carolina State. Those other FCS schools in the state don't have a chance, to get those kids.
Got somebody you steal a recruit from every once in a while, you think, in the long term?
Say it again?
Can you take a recruit from them every
once in a while? That's the plan. They signed 7 out of Charlotte. And that's why we made a conservative effort to do a football camp in Charlotte. And we will continue to do so because there is some excellent football down in Charlotte. But pretty much South Carolina State went down there and took some really good. They got one kid that I think he could start for them right now, running back. So they got some good ones that's just kind of sitting in red shirt. And so Coach Pugh has done an excellent job, with that football program.
Coach, when you look at, you're talking about getting your guys to buy in and not take plays off. When you do find a guy that has taken a play or 2 off, is there a discipline in that?
Well, we take them out the game. The coaches are clear on my instruction in terms of let's get them out. We get them back in, but we have to send a message that once we identify, there's nowhere to hide. One thing about football, when you take a play off, it seems like they find you. If you rest or you lack, it seems like the ball is going to come to you. So, we don't think you're giving your maximum effort or you're focused on something else or you're not following your keys, then just get them out, put somebody else in there. I've learned over the years that when watching from the sideline, you tend to become a better football player. So when you get taken out the game and you stand there watching, you tend to learn a little bit, and you kind of a little better when you go back in, a little bit more appreciative of that playing time. So that's what's been instructed to the coaches. I'm not going to sit there and keep yelling and fussing. If somebody's not doing it, just get them out and then put somebody else in. And then we'll continue that rotation the whole year, and then we'll find somebody that's going to say, hey, I'm going to be focused the whole time I'm in there, and it's going to be his spot.
3 games, 4 games in, what have you seen as you take a look back from these games, close ones and the Rutgers game, that you like from your team this year?
Focus at certain times. You look at Elon, you look at Savannah State, for example. When we get down, we come back. It's like, also, okay, now I want to play, as opposed to coming out. We've been counterpunchers. And we get hit, then all of a sudden we hit back. Now I want us to be the aggressor. I want us to come out, and be more aggressive and take the game to folk as opposed to just waiting. And I think that's something that we have to learn how to do. It's easy to say that, but once you become say, look, I'm coming to here. That means I have a chance to win this football game. I'm gonna go after these guys. That's an attitude that we have to acquire. And once we acquire that, because I think we have decent enough athletes where we can hang with folk. But if we lack that mindset of being aggressive, then we're gonna fall behind and then fight like dogs just to come back and just to be equal. Whereas if we fight like dogs in the beginning, we will be 3-1.
Do they have anybody that's got a chance to be playing on Sundays?
Do they? There's a whole lot of them. Okay. You look at that defense. Like I said, there's 2 safeties, is NC State and Auburn transfers. That number 40, that middle linebacker, he's one of the best ones I've seen in a long time. He's sideline to sideline, big old kid, about 6'2", 215, 220, and he can flat out play. He got sacks, he got tackles for losses, he got coverage plays. He's very good. So their offensive line, they look like grown men out there. They're huge. So he has players. They're gonna constantly keep guys in the NFL training camps.
You're building a program, but also building players. Who has improved the most among the guys that you start from the opening of your fall camp?
That's a good question. I haven't looked at it from that standpoint yet. I normally get to the midway point, about game 6 or 7, and start reevaluating. Just had an early bye, so I have not even. Because we see that we 4 games in. We're still learning these guys. We're still trying to figure these guys out. Some of the freshmen are starting to hit a wall. They may have made some plays earlier. They hitting the walls now. But Mike Johnson stands out. He's a guy that he's getting better every game, especially in this system, knowing where checks are and knowing where things are. Jonathan Nicely has improved. He had a few drops early on. Hadn't played football in a while, and he's playing at a higher level. From a defensive standpoint. We kind of been up and down. We had some times where we look pretty dominant, and there's times where we allow teams just to run down the field on us to score. So, a little inconsistency is there. So, but Ole, he's up and down as a kicker. So, we still, it's still early. It's still early.
When you talked about South Carolina State in glowing terms there. So, what is going to be the key for you all to go down there to pick up the victory?
We have to capitalize on our opportunities. It sounds like a cliche, but in games like this, you're going to have about 3 or 4 opportunities to make a game-changing play. And you won't know that's a game-changing play until the game is over, when you say, hey, had we done this, had we done that. And then we got to make those plays. When we get our opportunities to make a game-changing play, somebody on our team has to step up and make that play. And I think if we do that and we're able to hang around, it'll be like the last couple games. It'll be close games, and it can go down to the wire. I don't think we have the personnel to blow this team out. This team hasn't been blown out in a long time. 1A is not even blowing them out. So it's just an opportunity to just hang around and make plays when the opportunity presents itself, and then anything can happen in the fourth quarter.
Can you talking about being aggressive from the start. Is that something that you can teach starting now, or this is something that has to go over time?
I think a lot of it has to do with the play calling. You know, when you say being aggressive, you know, meaning if I got a chance to hit the quarterback, one option, I need to take that shot. I can't just hug them and bring them to the ground. I gotta leave my feet and I gotta jump in them. If I got a chance to make a crushing block on offense, I gotta knock that guy out. You know, these are being aggressive as opposed to just kind of getting by with doing a play. You know, if I'm a running back and it's me and you, I gotta run you over, or I gotta make you miss and score. These are aggressive things. You know, we get a chance, we get a team blacked up at the one like we had a couple weeks ago. Can't let you score a 99-yard touchdown. I gotta get a safety out of this game. You know, if you look at South Carolina State, they had Bethune at the one, they get a safety. You know, so these that's what I mean by being aggressive. You know, taking advantage of making a statement play, and that's what we got to get done. Because I've seen these guys do it, but it's always when we behind or the fourth quarter we need to stop. And then they fired up and they flying around, and I'm like, if we just come out with that same intensity in the beginning, you just never know what could happen. Because we have good enough offensive players where we can score points, or we should be able to score points, and we have big enough backs where we should be able to run the ball. So if our defense come out aggressive and we're able to make some plays, anything can happen.
South Carolina State's been at this level for a long time. You look at them as kind of a role model for your program, and what are the steps that y'all need to take long term to get to that?
Well, yeah, definitely is a model program, no question about it. Excuse me, I've seen Buddy Pugh, I've known him for many years, and we talk, we got each other's cell number, and he's a friend in the business, so we've always bounced things off. When I was in the SWAT, just talking about different things. We've been on the executive committee together, the 1AA board of directors, and so we've known each other, and we've talked extensively about building programs. So yes, I consider him as a model program. Steps is already in place. Like I said, we do the camp in Charlotte. We can't have South Carolina State coming to North Carolina and taking players. That's something that's number one. Number one is we got to be able to get the guys in the state of North Carolina. If they decide they're gonna go to HBCU, they need to come to us as opposed to going to South Carolina State. So just doing different things along those lines, and I think those are the steps, the first steps. And then from a schematic standpoint, I think we're okay. We have a good scheme. Just getting the play, identifying those players that will flourish in our schemes, that's always important. And we're doing that.
What does South Carolina State like to do offensively?
A zone read option. That quarterback is so special, whereas he makes great decisions with the football. And you could tell their offensive scheme and their coordinators, they're watching the whole field. You start creeping up and peeking, they'll pull it out that belly and throw it over top on you. And he has a live arm, he has great legs, and you can tell he has a good mind, in terms of making the right decisions. So he's the key to their offense. That quarterback is the key. But again, they're gonna attack the perimeter, and they fast. So you better be ready to go when they come to that line of scrimmage.